Well, week one in the bag of Trump Nation, and that is why we are starting this channel. And let me tell you, it has been a hell of a week. We take a look at really stupid people on this channel, and as you can tell, they are coming out of the woodwork. The left is losing their absolute ever-loving mind. A lot of people are not handling this very well, as you can see from our intro video there. And that was all on November 6th. Like, all of those messages are from November 6th, the very first day. So people are losing their mind. FBI is going to have a lot on their plate, even though probably none of these people will see any repercussions whatsoever. But there is a lot of good and bad things happening in the states right now. Let's take a quick look into it. Right here, Donald J. Trump on his Truth Social very quickly came out with this. This would have been the very first of what is probably going to meet many great actions by the new Trump administration. This was a very, very good sign at the beginning. Trump said,
I will not be inviting former Ambassador Nikki Haley or former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo to join the Trump administration, which is currently in formation. I very much enjoyed and appreciated working with them previously and would like to thank them for their service to our country. Make America great again.
So this is a good sign here. Both of these rhinos are awful people, and we're glad Trump's not going to have them in his administration. And on the off chance anyone forgot why this is a good thing or who Nikki Haley is, it was Vivek who peeled back the curtain on her corruption problem, and we thank Trump for denying her access to any position in his administration. Check it out here.
First debate, she said that only a woman can get this job done. That's what she said. After the third debate, when I criticized Ronna McDaniel after 5 failed years of leadership of this party, and criticized Nikki for her corrupt foreign dealings as a military contractor, she said that I have a woman problem. Nikki, I don't have a woman problem. You have a corruption problem. And I think that that's what people need to know. Nikki is corrupt. This is a woman who will send your kids to die so she can buy a bigger house. This is the problem. Using identity politics more effectively than Kamala Harris is a form of intellectual fraud, and it actually needs to end. There's our donor puppet masters wielding their puppet right up here tonight. This is how this game is played. The puppet masters put up their puppet, and I reject the use of identity politics in this party. It has been a cancer coming from the left, and I'm sick and tired of the double standards the people of this country are too. Having 2 X chromosomes does not immunize you from criticism.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Governor.
Wow, wrecked. Vivek and Trump, they're both changing the whole debate stage feel of politics in the states these days. We're going to try and adjust things in the future so we can see our subtitles a little bit better there. But thank God, Nikki Haley, Mike Pompeo, not going to be in this administration. But that does not mean that they are done. Because right here on X, Tucker Carlson letting the world know on the exact same day that Trump released his tweet about Nikki Haley and Mike Pompeo, Carlson says, what the hell is going on in the U.S. Senate? Hours after Donald Trump wins the most conclusive mandate in 40 years, Mitch McConnell engineers a coup against the agenda by calling early leadership elections in the Senate. 2 of the 3 candidates hate Trump and what he ran on. One of them, John Cornyn, is an angry liberal whose politics are indistinguishable from Liz Cheney's. The election is Wednesday. It's by secret ballot, and it will determine whether or not the new administration succeeds. Rick Scott of Florida is the only candidate who agrees with Donald Trump. Call your senator and demand a public endorsement of Rick Scott. Do not let evil Mitch McConnell get away with it again. And believe me, he is an evil man. There's also something wrong with him. Didn't he have that weird, brain fart thing? Like, he, paused and couldn't speak for a while? Something's going on with these guys. I don't know if it's drugs or, chips in their brains, or are they really NPCs? Are they really just programmable robots? Who knows? But Mitch is definitely a snake. You should follow Clown World on X if you don't. And RFK himself says that without Rick Scott, the entire Trump reform agenda is wobbly. And he is very right. More wobbly and more warbly than his voice. We all love RFK, though. We're just joking around. See, Republicans can take a joke. That's the best part. And of course they're trying to sink the Trump administration before it even begins. There's still a part of me that's kind of surprised he won. I almost feel like it happened too easy. Like the shoe is going to drop. The gauntlet's going to hit the ground with a big clang, and we're all going to be like, holy shit. Like, these people aren't stupid. And we're all laughing about how, you're all going to go to jail, and the Epstein list is going to come out. Oh, and the Diddy parties. And you think these people, these powerful people, you think somebody like Nancy Pelosi, who is an absolute, she might be the devil incarnate, really. You think these people are going to let this happen?
He is destructive to our democracy, and he has to be eliminated.
The donor class can't just sit back on the sidelines and say, "Oh well, don't worry, this will all work itself out." They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump.
As powerful as Trump is, he really still is a civilian, even being the former president. They have kept him on the outside. And they are not going to go down without a fight. And this isn't a TV show. This isn't a movie. This is real life. These people know what they're doing. And mark my words, this is not over. But even with that said, I don't know. We all know that Putin is an evil man, but he is a cowboy. He's as much as a cowboy as any American. He probably wants to be American, really. But he's a badass, and he doesn't take shit. He might be an evil man, but if I had to go bowling with one of them, I would go bowling with Putin before Nancy Pelosi any day. I mean, imagine spending 2 hours with Pelosi. That would be freaking awful. I mean, with Putin, you might say the wrong thing and get assassinated, but at least 2 hours in, you're like, all right, it was nice getting to know you, Vlad. See you later. You probably learn a few things. But during this last week, President Putin said there is a new world order emerging unlike anything we have ever seen. And for some reason, it didn't feel as creepy as when Bush said it.
A new world order.
Let's see what Trump has to say here about dismantling the deep state. And maybe, just maybe, the new Avengers can help us recover from phase 4 and 5, because that shit was awful.
Here's my plan to dismantle the deep state and reclaim our democracy from Washington corruption once and for all. And corruption it is. First, I will immediately reissue my 2020 executive order restoring the president's authority to remove rogue bureaucrats, and I will wield that power very aggressively. Second, we will clean out all of the corrupt actors in our national security and intelligence apparatus, and there are plenty of them. The departments and agencies that have been weaponized will be completely overhauled, so that faceless bureaucrats will never again be able to target and persecute conservatives, Christians, or the left's political enemies, which they're doing now at a level that nobody can believe even possible. Third, we will totally reform FISA courts, which are so corrupt that the judges seemingly do not care when they are lied to in warrant applications. So many judges have seen so many applications that they know were wrong, or at least they must have known. They do nothing about it. They're lied to. Fourth, to expose the hoaxes and abuses of power that have been tearing our country apart, we will establish a Truth and Reconciliation Commission to declassify and publish all documents on deep state spying, censorship, and corruption, and there are plenty of them. Fifth, we will launch a major crackdown on government leakers who collude with the fake news to deliberately weave false narratives and to subvert our government and our democracy. When possible, we will press criminal charges. Sixth, we will make every Inspector General's office independent and physically separated from the departments they oversee, so they do not become the protectors of the deep state. Seventh, I will ask Congress to establish an independent auditing system to continually monitor our intelligence agencies to ensure they are not spying on our citizens or running disinformation campaigns against the American people, or that they are not spying on someone's campaign like they spied on my campaign. Eighth, we will continue the effort launched by the Trump administration to move parts of the sprawling federal bureaucracy to new locations outside the Washington swamp. Just as I moved the Bureau of Land Management to Colorado, as many as 100,000 government positions could be moved out, and I mean immediately, of Washington to places filled with patriots who love America, and they really do love America. Ninth, I will work to ban federal bureaucrats from taking jobs at the companies they deal with and that they regulate. So they deal with these companies and they regulate these companies, and then they want to take jobs from these companies. It doesn't work that way. Such a public display cannot go on, and it's taking place all the time, like with Big Pharma. Finally, I will push a constitutional amendment to impose term limits on members of Congress. This is how I will shatter the deep state and restore government that is controlled by the people and for the people. Thank you very much.
There you go. A lot to ingest there. I love how when Trump says he's going to have a Truth and Reconciliation Commission, it seems far less ominous than when the Democrats had their Truth Commission they were putting forward and everybody was clamoring that that it was so dystopian and like 1984 Brave New World kind of stuff. It was pretty neat. This gives you confidence. Maybe it's the background music. Gets you right here, you know? One thing is for sure, Trump is probably going to need a little bit more security after this announcement, and he should probably do his due diligence as to who these people are. But removing rogue bureaucrats, overhauling national security and intelligence agencies, reforming the FISA courts, Truth and Reconciliation Commission, like I was saying, and a crackdown on all government leakers. This is to go along with making Inspector General's offices independent, monitoring intelligence agencies, relocating the federal bureaucracy, banning federal bureaucrats from taking jobs in regulated companies. I mean, there is a ton here. Term limits on Congress. Now, apparently this video is old and it's just now going around, but we understand that this is the mentality of Donald Trump and his new Avengers cabinet. And that's a good thing. Trump might be getting old. We're all getting old. I know a lot of old people who are witty as hell and some of the most intelligent, smartest, funniest people I know. But it's not about age. It's about time in the business. And politics, people like Joe Biden who have been in it their entire lives, it just doesn't, absolute power corrupts absolutely, right? So, seems like a good thing at face value. Only time will tell. Remember, folks, age gracefully, and I'll see you in the next video. We'll look at Trump's education agenda.
I joined a dating site for people my age called Carbon Dating. I asked a woman on the site for her number. She told me it was 140/95.